Just hours from now, justices will hear arguments in former President Trump's push to get his name on the Colorado ballot. One of the topics we'll be talking about with Fox News legal editor Kerry Kupek-Ruban joins us now. Kerry, what do you expect today? So many people believe that this is going to go in the president's direction. Are you one of them?
I would hope so, mainly because the way things are going right now, it's created an untenable patchwork across the country. Like, frankly, I don't even know how the election would work come November if you have states that say that Trump can stay on the ballot and states that say that he can't. It would cause, I think, tremendous unrest and certainly some chaos politically. And so I think the justices are, I'm sure that I should say, they're well aware of that fact. They're considering these other factors closely. And I think what they're going to hone in on, Brian, is whether Trump is considered an officer of the United States for purposes of this section under the Constitution. Why does that matter? Because this section that is at play right now is that our Constitution says that someone cannot be president if they were an officer of the United States and engaged in insurrection. The president is saying, the former president is arguing, I'm not an officer. The president appoints officers. If you look at the Constitution, there is a distinction between presidents and officers. Oh, and by the way, even if I were an officer, I've not been charged nor convicted of insurrection anywhere.
Yeah, comparing this to the Civil War is comically stupid. Can we move on and talk about what Robert Hur's investigation is doing? Robert Hur, signed by Merrick Garland, to investigate the placement of or somehow how top classified documents may or may not have been in the former senator, former vice president, and current president's belongings, whether it was in the University of Pennsylvania at his school, whether it was in one of his houses, or whether it was his lawyer's office or the University of Delaware. We're about to get this final report. What's at stake?
I think more than anything, it's politics that are at stake. I think this will be a political embarrassment for Joe Biden. I think that if the reports are right, that his report will include pictures, and if, say, these documents were stored next to his parked car in his garage, that's embarrassing. I don't necessarily think we're going to see any legal consequences, because at its heart, mishandling classified information is really a process crime. It's like going 60 in a 55-mile-an-hour zone. Yeah, is it technically illegal? Sure. But should you throw the book at someone absent some kind of very bad intent? I would argue no. And here, according to the facts as we know them, Joe Biden has been complying and producing documents as asked of him by the government.
Yeah, he set up two separate interviews. They are pleading to see this report before it's released. Kerry, thanks so much.